All right, today we're diving into a book that's like required reading for anyone serious about the markets. It's Dr. Alexander Elder's Trading for a Living. But here's the thing. This isn't just about fancy charts or secret strategies. No, it's about the one thing that really separates the winners from the losers, your own psychology.
So let's just kick things off with the million-dollar question. Why do so many traders fail? I mean, people have all the data, all the best tools, and yet they still lose money. Is their strategy just bad? Is it plain old bad luck, or is there something deeper going on?
Well, according to Dr. Elder, the answer is surprisingly simple, and it's staring you right in the face. The biggest obstacle you'll ever face isn't out there in the chaos of the market. It's inside your own head. The real battle isn't with the Dow Jones, it's with yourself.
And to make this idea incredibly clear, Elder introduces us to this character he calls Johnny. Now, Johnny isn't a real person, but he represents every losing trader out there. His story is basically a masterclass in what not to do.
So what's Johnny's big problem? He's trading on pure emotion. He gets swept up in the excitement and buys right at the peak. And when a trade goes against him, does he cut his losses? Nope. He just hangs on, paralyzed by this false hope that it's all going to turn around. This mix of hope, fear, and greed is a total recipe for disaster.
So if the problem is psychological, who better to figure it out than an actual psychiatrist? And this is where the author, Dr. Elder, has this incredible, unique edge.
You see, Dr. Elder wasn't just some trader. He was a practicing psychiatrist for years. He takes all those principles of human psychology and applies them directly to the market. This gives him this amazing lens to see why we all make such irrational decisions when we're under pressure, and more importantly, how to stop doing it.
Okay, so Elder's solution isn't some magic indicator he's selling. It's a solid, practical framework built on 3 pillars. Think of it like a 3-legged stool, right? If you take away even one of those legs, the whole thing just comes crashing down.
And here they are: mind, method, and money. Super simple. First, you have to conquer your own psychology. Second, you've got to have a clear trading method, a system. And third, you absolutely must protect your money with strict risk management. They all have to work together. Let's break them down.
All right, let's start with that first pillar, mind. On one side, you've got the losing trader. Their driver, hope and emotion. Their action, totally impulsive. The result, pretty much always self-destruction. This is Johnny, right? Now, the winning trader is the polar opposite. They're driven by discipline and analysis. They act with patience. And the result isn't a single jackpot, it's consistency. So how do you actually build that winning mindset? Well, Elder gives us some really practical tools. For one, he insists you keep a trading journal to track not just your trades, but your emotions. And he makes this really powerful comparison to Alcoholics Anonymous. The first step is admitting you have a problem, right? You have to admit you're impulsive and then consciously build rational habits, one trade at a time.
Okay, on to pillar number 2, method. Now, you might think a profitable system needs to be insanely complex with all sorts of bells and whistles. Elder argues the exact opposite. Your trading system has to be simple and clear because the moment you're under pressure, complexity is the first thing that breaks.
His famous triple screen system is a perfect example of this. It's brilliant. First, you look at a long-term chart, like a weekly chart, to find the overall tide. Is the market generally going up or down? Then, you zoom into a daily chart to find a wave that's moving with that tide. And finally, you zoom in even more to pinpoint the ripple for your exact entry. It's simple, it's layered, it's logical. And that brings us to the third and arguably most important pillar, money management. And really, it can all be summed up by this one single number. This rule right here might just be the thing that keeps you in the game.
It's the 1% rule. That's it. Never risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any single trade, period. Think about what that does. It means you can be wrong 10, 20, even 30 times in a row, and you are still in the game. It's your ultimate safety net. It removes that desperate life-or-death feeling from any one trade and lets you focus on consistency. This rule is what keeps you alive long enough to actually get good. Okay, so you've got your mind in check, you've got your method, and you're protecting your money. But how do you put it all together and behave like a pro day after day? Dr. Elder uses this fantastic analogy to tie it all together. Just think about that for a second.
A surgeon doesn't just walk into an operating room and start winging it. They don't get emotional or hopeful during surgery. They follow a precise, practice checklist for every single operation. Your trading needs to be exactly the same. Every trade demands preparation, precision, and a calm professional process.
So what does that look like? Well, it means your work starts before the market even opens, with research and planning. Then, during the day, you execute that plan, no improvising. And after the market closes, you go back to your journal and review your trades, just like a surgeon would review a procedure. It's this constant loop: prepare, execute, review.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Because after you learn all the systems and all the rules, the book's core message is that the most important trade you'll ever make is the one to master yourself.
Ultimately, what Trading for a Living really teaches us is that the Holy Grail isn't some secret indicator. It's emotional discipline. The real work isn't finding the perfect system for the market, it's building a system for yourself. A system to manage those timeless human emotions of greed and fear. That, right there, is the secret.
So I'll leave you with this question. We've talked about the 3 pillars: mind, method, and money. I want you to be really honest with yourself for a second. Which one is your weakest link? Which one do you tend to neglect? Because your answer to that question, well, that could be the first real step to transforming your entire trading career.